Hello, welcome to the Mid-Ohio Valley Public Forum video podcast. This podcast features issues of interest to the residents of the Mid-Ohio Valley, mainly encompassing Wood County, West Virginia, and Washington County, Ohio. Right now, with the coronavirus pandemic, civic life has changed greatly throughout the country.
This is a presidential election year, and one of the big changes is that candidates cannot campaign for office as they normally would. Generally, they'd be out there knocking on doors, going to soup bean dinners and ice cream socials, shaking hands, kissing babies, chatting up the voters. They can't do that now.
So many of our initial podcasts will be interviews with candidates for local office. If you're a candidate and you're interested in being interviewed on our show, please reach out. You can contact us through our Facebook page. That's MOV Public Forum, or you can reach us at movpublicforum@gmail.com.
Today we'll be interviewing Thomas Rafferty. Tom is a candidate for Parkersburg City Council, District 7. Welcome, Tom. We're delighted you could make yourself available for this interview.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for the service of giving us the opportunity to meet potential voters this way.
Glad to do it. Kim and I are pretty involved locally, and this was just our way of trying to help the candidates and help our city. And so with that, we'll dive right in. How would you introduce yourself as a candidate? Do you have an elevator speech? So if we were in an elevator and you had a minute between floors, what would you say to convince me to vote for you?
I guess I would start with the fact that I'm a lifelong resident of Parkersburg. The main thing I feel I bring would be empathy. I want to try to feel what the other person is going through. If anyone ever has to come to city council, I think the only thing they could hope for is that they would be listened to and considered and dealt with fairly. So that's what I would bring to the office.
What is motivating you to run for office? What's the main thing that's making you want to step up and run for city council?
I guess two things. Public service is something I've always considered very important and valuable, and compassion, again, for what I feel public servants need to do is to represent their people, but specifically those with less power, to see that fairness kind of reigns in.
What do you think you have to offer the citizens of Parkersburg that your competition in the race might not?
Okay. I'm not comfortable saying I'm better than some other person. I'm not even sure who my opponent may be. But what I can promise is that I will listen and I will consider, and then I will do what I feel is best for the city of Parkersburg or for the constituents as they are.
What do you think is your wow factor? What is the thing about you that would make someone say, wow, I'm going to vote for that guy?
I hope it's that they get the feeling that I care about them, that I want to see everyone succeed. I want to see everyone happy. I love the city of Parkersburg, and I just hope everybody is as happy here as I am.
If you're elected, what's one thing you would like to accomplish during your term in office? Maybe a specific current city ordinance that you'd like to see changed, abolished, or even created?
I think one of the most important things we're looking at right now would be the non-discrimination ordinance. I think it should pass. I think people should be allowed to be themselves without being judged or punished. And I just think that's the fair thing to do. So that would be, I guess, at the top of my list.
Sorry about that. I had an
All
incoming
right.
phone call. I forgot to block them. How do you feel about compromise?
I'm willing to compromise. I'm not thrilled with compromise in that with compromise, the understanding is you give a little and you get a little, which means both sides lose. I would much rather work towards consensus, a win-win, to where both sides could come out happy. If necessary, I understand that compromise is necessary sometimes.
How well do you think you play well with others? Can you give us any concrete examples?
I guess part of my history, I grew up through Catholic schools, and then when I became a parent, I was president of my kids' elementary school PTO. I became president of the board of education, Catholic board of education, and I've worked as chairman of my church's parish council. In all of those, I've dealt with all kinds of people with all kinds of needs, from doctors and lawyers to janitors and teachers, and I've always tried to treat everybody the exact same.
This is a two-part question. What do you think your worst enemy would say is your worst quality?
Okay. Hopefully, they would say it was tenacity, that I just never give up, that I just keep chewing on something until I get through it.
Okay, and what do you say is your best quality?
I would say the exact same thing. If I have a problem, I'm going to work at it until I get it solved.
So political office holders are leaders. How would you describe your leadership style?
I have, as I said, considered myself a leader all through my children's educations anyway. And I've always gone with the leadership style that you can't push a rope. I feel like I get in front and I try to pull people along with me. And so that, I guess, would be my leadership style, is to try to lead and to get as many people as I can to follow behind.
What are your personal core values?
Okay. Honesty, truthfulness, hard work, and hopefully mixed in with all of that would be compassion. Again, one of the things I look at with public service is to help those less fortunate.
Do you know your win number? And if so, what is it?
I do not currently know my win number. 50% plus one. I know with this being a presidential election, I believe Democratic participation is going to be up, which should help. But I'm interested in legislating for both sides. So I'm going to approach it as to get as many people as I can to vote for me.
How often would you say you've attended city council meetings?
I attended a few before the government shutdown, and I will be right back at it now that they'll be opening back up.
So if you haven't attended in person until recently, was there another way you kept up with what the council was doing?
The news, technically, I guess, and just how the city was functioning. So.
What do you see as the main role of a city council person in a strong mayor-run city like Parkersburg?
Okay. Best I can put it, city council is like the legislative or policy-making arm of the city government. We're there to support the mayor, whoever the mayor is, and we're also there to represent our constituents in the city as far as what's best for them.
What do you think you will enjoy the least if you're elected to city council and serve?
I guess part will be time away from the family. There are definitely meetings and more meetings involved. And hopefully, to a lesser extent, any gridlock that we may have to work through.
What excites you most about serving on city council?
I guess after I was approached, the opportunity to give back to the community, to do public service.
As a citizen of Parkersburg, tell me what you're most proud of about the city of Parkersburg.
Okay, as I said, I was born and raised here. Have never thought of leaving. This is a marvelous place to raise a family, and I have raised a marvelous family here. It's big enough that it's entertained and can satisfy almost all of our needs, but small enough that you feel safe and that you feel cared for and that you have a small town feel.
So with that, we'll move into the hot seat. These are potential hot button issues. We'll do this section in rapid fire. So we will give you some sort of issue that has come up with city council, and then we'll see what you think about it.
I will do my best to keep it as short as possible.
One or both of us have been present at nearly every single city council meeting since the current council has been sworn in. Kim and I have both traded off running video so we could live stream meetings. And so we've seen quite a bit. We've noticed that a lot of what council does is routine and not of much interest to the public. We've also noticed that a lot of issues that have come up in council are not controversial at all and are resolved by unanimous or nearly unanimous vote.
But we noticed over the past several years, there have been several issues that were hot button issues that either got a lot of input from the public or divided the council. And these issues, for the most part, have been resolved for the moment, but they could always crop back up. So we'd like to get your brief take on these issues.
Absolutely.
For this purpose,
before we start, let me say that even the unanimous stuff that city council does is important, whether people have to care about it or not. It is stuff that they do a great job doing.
It does. And all the decisions by council affect us in some way. It's just maybe not
right. Best if all can agree.
Fiery. So for this purpose, we'll use a support, not support, or support with changes format. So here we go. The non-discrimination ordinance.
Support.
Okay. Motorized bicycle ban.
I'm going to have to go a little longer on this one. I would support with changes. Electric motors, I think, quiet are fine. The gas motors, I think, need to be reconsidered.
Raising city fees for trash collection, fire, and police protection.
Support when necessary. How about that?
Financial support for Parkersburg homecoming and other civic events.
Support.
A fireworks ban.
I do not support.
Splash pad project.
Support with change.
Social media policy.
Support and would abide.
Dumpster fencing and cleanup.
Yes, support.
and residential property cleanup.
Support.
With that, we'll move into the wildcard section.
Yes.
These are simple softballs, so you've gotten through the worst of it yet.
Okay, wonderful.
What would you say is your favorite thing or place in our city?
I guess I would say our home and our neighborhood. In District 7, the street we live on, East Lawn Avenue, you couldn't ask for a nicer place to live. So that would be my favorite place.
What are you truly passionate about?
I would say fairness, justice, for everybody.
What do you like to do in your off time?
Up until the coronavirus hit, part of my, I guess most of my spare time would be spent playing with my grandkids. And I want them to grow up here in Parkersburg the same way I do.
And what is most unique about you?
That's a hard question. I guess I would have to say my life experience and my friendships. The people that I have met have changed my life and the things I've gone through. I worked at a plant for 36 years that was sold and shut down. So that has shaped me. My education has shaped me. Just being an individual, and that's what I would bring to the city council chair, is whatever's presented, I would think of based on what I've been through in my life.
With that, we'd like to give you the opportunity to take a few minutes to tell us and voters anything else you feel like we need to know about you or your campaign, how to get more information on your campaign, how to get in touch with you, donate, get involved, etc.
All right. I have a Facebook page, just Tom Rafferty. I would like everybody to know that they would have an ear on city council if it was ever necessary. So no one knows for sure that would ever happen to them. But if it is, I want them to know that I would be there to at least listen to and consider their concerns, and then to act on it the best I can based on my experience. That's basically all I can do, is I will try to do the best job I can for as many people as I can.
Okay, well, Tom, we appreciate your time and you taking the opportunity to interview with us and talk to people so they know what your background is and what you hope to do if you're elected. And we really appreciate you making yourself available. Everyone,
I appreciate everything you've done to make this possible. So I thank you very much.
no, you're welcome. Everyone stay safe, wash those hands.
That's right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.